Hi, Matt PD. My name is Lucas Chang, and in this talk, I'll share some tips for building relationships with community partners in order to improve or create new opportunities for student learning. So as context, I run a not-for-profit called Y2 Entrepreneurship Labs, and we work with a variety of schools and school boards, as well as organizations, including businesses, not-for-profits, and governmental agencies to create opportunities for students to develop the problem-solving skills, innovation skills, and entrepreneurial mindset. So over the past few years, I've had opportunities to see the interactions between schools and teachers on the one side, with community partners and business owners and industry experts and so forth on the other, and observe some things that have worked, and both in terms of wonderful new opportunities for students, as well as tactics that can make the relationship smoother. So I'm going to share those with you today. I do believe that it takes a village to raise a child, and it's the responsibility and privilege of raising children does not just fall to families and schools. There are other organizations in the community that can help, starting with government, both government at all levels. So local municipality, regional, provincial, or state, and national, they all have roles to help children. And I've divided up government from small business enterprise centers or economic development. So there are two different, these focuses are, and then the functions that they play are different, and both can play an important role in supporting schools and families when raising children. Any post-secondary educational institutions, colleges and universities, trade schools, as well as incubators, so organizations that are dedicated to helping companies start. These are also resources that you can tap into as far as supporting student learning. Other organizations are businesses, whether they're startups, whether they're small business, whether they're mid-size, whether they're large enterprise, or whether they're not-for-profit. They can all play roles in helping augment student learning. And finally, grassroots organizations, so such as meetup groups, as well as established organizations like business improvement associations, chambers of commerce, boards of trade. They can all be resources that can help. And specifically to the last couple, so grassroots organizations and chambers and boards and BIAs, these are organizations that have memberships of ranging from the tens to the hundreds, and in some cases thousands. So to engage one of these organizations is an opportunity to engage their membership. In York Region, there have been a variety of activities that I'm aware of, ranging from SPCE, which it partners where a company or not-for-profit will come in and they'll share some challenges that they're facing, and then students, typically in high school, will have the opportunity to solve the problem or come up with recommendations. Placements, whether it be co-op or apprenticeships, those have been opportunities for students. Bringing in people from the community to act as mentors, speakers, judges, advisors, to help students. Members of the community have come in and delivered programs, training programs for students, and members of the community have come in and help teachers with their professional development. So there have been a lot of examples in York Region where community partnerships have been leveraged to augment the learning experience, largely for students, but also for teachers. The two school boards in York Region have been successful in building relationships and leveraging those relationships to create learning opportunities for students. There have been a number of successes that, whether it be creating relationships with large organizations, working with organizations who very well understand and are aligned with the goals of the two boards, finding speakers that really resonate with students. The one case study I wanted to spend some time on was the creation of this shared database with co-op opportunities that both of the boards are using to help teachers find placements for their co-op students. So the board created this intake form that allowed any companies or not-for-profits who are interested in bringing on a co-op student. They could fill out their specific information, such as their location or locations, if they had multiple. They could fill out which industry they belong to, and they could also indicate what what tasks a co-op student would be doing. In addition to that, the form allowed companies to indicate whether they wanted to do other things in addition to or instead of co-ops. So if they wanted to provide guest speakers or host a facilities tour, provide training opportunities, and so on, all of these things were things that companies who were interested could opt into. And what this did was it all of this information populated this Google sheet that teachers have access to. So now with a teacher who might have 10 or 20 or 30 contacts of their own, they now can add these additional contacts sorted by municipality. And I've just blocked off contact information. But they could sort this database by location as well as by industry to identify where there might be a fit for co-op placements or other. So this was really helpful for the teachers, because like I said, it gave them additional contacts that they previously wouldn't have had. But it also created a new opportunity for other players to get the word out to even a larger group of potential, potential partners. So the City of Markham Small Business Center, in their monthly newsletter, they would email this out, and there was a standing section about hiring co-ops, as you can see here. And so somebody would click down here, and it would take them to that intake form that you saw. And so now organizations like the Newmarket Chamber of Commerce, the 4 small business enterprise centers in York Region, campus accelerators and incubators and so forth, who they themselves had access to hundreds of other hundreds of companies and not-for-profits themselves, they could get the word out to a bigger pool of people who may be interested in helping schools out, helping students out. So this was an example that started off by how can we augment teachers access to potential placements for co-op students, and expanded into right now it's a pretty robust pipeline within the entire region, with all of the information of companies that are interested being funneled centrally through the 2 boards. So the database that you saw on the last slide is now shared between both the Catholic and the public board. So what's in it for ecosystem partners? What's in it for the business owners, the leaders within not-for-profits, within the governmental agencies? What's in it for them when they're helping out students in schools? I know that there are some teachers who I've spoken to who are a little wary that a business owner may want to come in and sell to the students and promote the brand. I actually see the opposite. The majority of people who I've spoken to, in fact, almost 100% of the people that I've spoken to who want to go and help students, are going in it for really one of 3 reasons. And the first reason kind of is covered by these first 2, training future workforce. So there's an interest that many of these business owners and leaders have in accelerating the personal development of our future workforce, and in some cases, these leaders that have wound up hiring some of the students who come in for co-op. So there's an altruistic and a very practical desire to train the workforce of the future. Second, which is actually a much smaller reason, staff augmentation. So bringing on a co-op student who has a skill set that can help benefit the business right away. That is a practical consideration. The biggest reason, though, is giving back. People who want to come in and be mentors or speakers or hire co-op students or what have you typically are motivated by the desire to give back to the community, to give back to teens. And it's really an altruistic motivation. So those are the most common reasons I've seen people have to want to help out students in schools and teachers. So there are 3 tips, though, that I wanted to share with you that you can take advantage of in a good way of this desire to help. So there are 3 tips that I found very helpful in building relationships with community partners and managing that relationship once you're working together. So the first one, when you approach a community partner, be very specific about what you're looking for from them. So what's the role? What are they going to do? Are they going to speak? Are they going to be a mentor? If they're going to be a mentor, are they going to be assigned to a team? Or do you expect them to roam from team to team, which is all fine. Just letting the partner know ahead of time what you want them to do is very helpful. For location and time, be specific. Do you want them to come to the school? And if it's in the school, is it in a classroom? Is it in the library? Is it in the learning commons? Where do you want them to help the students? In terms of time, you might be running a session all afternoon from 1 to 4, but if you only need the partner there to speak, let's say from 1:30 to 2, be specific about that time so the partner has the ability to plan their day around that. Any expectations that you may have around preparation or a particular angle that you may want the partner to speak to if they're keynoting, be upfront with that. So by expectation, I mean, for example, do you want them to spend more time talking about their career path? Do you want them to talk about top 3 things that they have done as leaders in their company versus in the community. So if you have a specific angle that you want them to take, share that up front so that they can prepare accordingly. Keep in mind that many potential partners have not set foot in a school in decades. And so if there are school or board specific programs or procedures or terms or what have you, make sure, take the extra step to explain those terms in non-jargon, if you will, to the partner so that they understand the context. Again, many of them have not been inside of the school in a long time and may know the school just through the eyes of their children. Second, be open to different ideas that the partner may have. So, you may say that you may want the partner to come in and do a talk on, their career path or leadership or what have you. But if the partner has a different idea because maybe they came across something, they did something in the past that was really effective, or they know something about their business, a particular nuance that would lend itself really well to a learning experience, including distance education for your students, be open to that. It doesn't mean that necessarily you and the partner will end up going that direction. But if they do come back with some suggestions, be open to the different perspectives that they bring. Third, appreciate that the partner in spending time preparing for the session with your students and spending time in the session with your students, that's time away from their business. So the more you appreciate or show appreciation for them, stepping away from their business and their customers and their staff, the more I think the better the partner will feel. And some examples of ways that you can do that. One is if you're specific about time. Back to the example of you're running a session from 1 to 4, but you only need the partner from 1:30 to 2. Be specific about that because it does show the partner that you're valuing their time, and you're not going to ask them to put a placeholder in their calendar for the entire afternoon when you really only need them for 30 minutes. Another tactic or example, if the partner is going to speak from 1:30 to 2 and then again from 3 to 3:30, well, there's that 1 hour in between. If it's possible, and I know space is a concern in schools, but if it's possible to find the partner a quiet place, quiet room for them to sit down, make phone calls to their clients or check their emails in that 1 hour wait time rather than sitting on their phone, that's appreciated. If there is a way to connect them to your Wi-Fi so they can check their emails or check sales orders or check progress of deliveries and inventory levels, that's appreciated as well. So there are just these little things that a teacher who has brought a partner in, who's invited a partner in, can do to show their appreciation for the partner and show their understanding that the partner has stepped away from their daily business. Do what you can to do that because the partner will absolutely appreciate that in return. For you might be thinking, well, that's great. How do I begin? Where do I begin? So there's a worksheet that you can download. It's set up in this in a Google folder, and in the worksheet there's 2 sections. One gives you an opportunity to list what do you want from what do your students need? What do you want for to give to your students, whether it be co-op placements or speakers or whatever. And if it may be speakers, you might have something on a particular topic or class, or maybe there's a broader thing for an assembly or a conference or whatever. Do you want somebody to come in as a mentor, tours, and so on and so forth? Are there things that what things do you want help with from the community? So you can itemize it here. And there may be some things that you're looking for that are not here. So there's a section for other. And then look around in your ecosystem. Who might be able to help? So big business, small business, grassroots, chambers, BIAs, and so forth. So hopefully this will give you a way to structure your thoughts around who you might be able to approach. And this gives you almost a plan a plan to that you can use to start approaching organizations and have those specific asks in mind. So download it from this link, and hopefully this helps you. So in conclusion, there are 3 things I would offer. Number 1, there are organizations in all ecosystems that wish to partner and offer benefit to students and their learning experiences. So take a look at what's in your system and see who can help you. Secondly, be specific with ideas of how somebody can help. What opportunities do you want for your students, and bring that to the table. But at the same time, be open to what your partner may suggest in return. They can bring some interesting ideas to the table. So treat them as a partner and not a service provider. So if you have any questions, or if you just want to generally stay in touch, here's my contact info. Best of luck, and Take care. Stay safe. Bye.